washed. They'd always say that.
So what about like I guess just washing dishes and stuff like that? You just had to you had to go out and get the water and bring it back in.
You know, even down there at Mother's, after we had running water, her well would go dry just about every summer when it was real dry.
Mm.
I mean, we didn't have no water. We carried it from up there on the Burgess and Louise. They lived in where Kemp and Shirley's house is. We carried it from up there. And you didn't have a machine, a washing machine to wash your clothes. Most of the time you had the scrub, what they call the scrub board.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew what it was. You know, about everybody's about the same caliber.
Mm-hmm.
About the same situation.
So how were you when you got electricity and all?
Oh, you had electricity then.
Did you? Oh, you had electricity.
We had Daddy built the back house or outside house or whatever. And one day the door had been left open and the goat got in there, and you talk about a pretty mess. We had one. He didn't use the right place. The walls helped his.
Mm.
Yeah, you just and never thought nothing about it. You didn't know no better.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know no further. There was 9 of us children, and Mom and Dad and my grandma,
Which grandma?
Kimberly and Grandpa Jordan. We had her for several years.
Was
Right
she
on.
sick?
She was about bedtime.
Daddy, he done carpenter work at that time, and Mother would always pack his lunch for him to take. And he's working somewhere over here in Bucktown. It may have been the bars. I don't know who it was. But anyway, somebody had looked in his bucket where he had his lunch. Mother had put the whole pie in for him to eat. They made the comment, who has the whole pie? I've heard Mother tell that.
Did he eat it all? Or did he share it?
I don't know.
I
He
have-
probably shared it, I'd say, but I don't know.
And chances are they ate what was sent. And then they might bring a little bit back, but we always met them before they got to the house. You get that?
And they had what they called what did they call it? It was a house where they put the hog meat.
The meat house.
Meat house, yeah.
Smokehouse,
I guess it
smokehouse.
was a meat house. That's what they called it. Daddy had built it was a meat house. And he just had shelves around in it. And that's where they put the hog meat when they killed the hogs. So, and salt them and take care of them.
Where was it at?
It was right on the edge of the yard, right down there at Mother's. Right
But
down below
it
there.
was gone
Yeah, it's
very
gone.
long before.
Yeah, I don't know when they tore it down. They used to be fenced off.
Was that your barn that used to be out there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You had a cow.
Yeah.
Did you milk it?
Sometimes I did.
Who milked it the most?
We had the cow, one cow. After Daddy left, Mother had the one cow and 2 or 3 chickens. And Aunt Fanny, her mother's sister, Danielle's mother, and Nell's mother, they lived way on down Crumford. Excuse me. And Aunt Fanny, she worked at the cheese plant.
Oh,
And she would always want us on Friday to go home with her and spend the weekend. And we would a whole lot. Just leave the cow and the chickens and go on. And Mother, she told somebody one day, she said, I'm just going to tie the chickens to that cow's tail and give them away. But we'd go down there, like Fanny's. Their house was kind of below the road. And talking about the outhouses, that made me think that they didn't have an outhouse. Aunt Fanny didn't. Aunt Fanny's husband, he died, I don't know how old he was. He died young. I think he had a heart problem, heart trouble. I guess he had a heart attack. Their back house was over the creek.
Over the what? The
Creek.
creek. Oh.
You used the bathroom in that house and washed down the creek. Now, can you imagine that happening now?
Yeah,
But that was the way it was.
It wasn't the only one over the creek either.
That's what I said when the toilet paper got scarce. I said, we don't have no Sears and Roebuck catalogs now. That's what they always used. That
Yeah.
was the paper.
I thought that toilet paper she'd got here some time back was so thin. It was thin. You'd be lucky. You'd have to be careful to tear it off before you went to. It was that thin. And but I just thought she
But
did
we got that at Dollar General.
better than Roebuck
Better than
catalog.
Sears and Roebuck.
Didn't think nothing about it. That's all you knew.
But one weekend we went down there at Aunt Grace, their sister. She was there that night. Well, Aunt Fanny had a place kind of like on the side of the road. It was right on the side of the road, but that's where you parked. And of course we was all scared. And that night there was a big tractor and trailer come by, and he parked down there where you parked.
Where you
He
parked
stayed
your
all
car.
night. He stayed all night down there. He parked. That's where he just rested. But Aunt Grace, she told him, she said, well, I'm sure he slept good because we watched him all night. But he just pulled off like the rest. He didn't. He didn't even get out of the
He had
truck.
problem winning as far as he could get after coming from maybe Route 11, number 11 highway that goes into Withville. And then it just had secondary road, and crooked road like that one in his own, setting on rent. And I guess he was just worse out. But he used to, people, they didn't think about quitting at 4 o'clock or 5. That,
We was forever getting scared. That one weekend, they was all at Mother's. And Grandpa was there, Mother's daddy, you know, and he was crippled. He did. And, of course, he slept in that big bedroom there at Mother's. That was the bedroom I always slept in because it was high off the ground.
The
I didn't
one,
nobody could get in.
the one in the front or the
Yeah, in the front, that big old,
on the
on the left as you went in.
okay,
Yeah.
beside the dining room and kid
But-
living room.
Instead of us going to bed that night, we made a bed on the floor in the living room. And then we got to talking, well, what do you think that we would do if somebody broke in? What would we do with Grandpa? He was in there by himself. Asleep. Oh, Lordy.
And he got run over by a train, right?
Yeah.
What did he do? Fall?
I never did know exactly. I think that's probably the way. I don't really know. I never did hear him say. I never did ask Mother. I don't know whether she really knew exactly or not.
Where was it at?
That I don't know either, where it was at.
It was Granny's daddy.
Yeah.
Had her mom been dead long?
She died before I was born. Mother's mother.
she was young.
I think she's just in her 50s. They thought she'd probably had a heart attack. But she was gone before I never knew Grandma Sanders. I think I've told you about that time. We didn't have a TV, Mother didn't, so we went up to Uncle John's one night. I think his election or something was supposed to be on that night, so we went up to Uncle John's, which was right up above Mother's house.
That's where Dorothy and Steve live now.
Yeah, except they lived, it was an old storehouse at that time. That's where they lived at that time, in the storehouse. Grandpa had a store in that, and they had a living quarters in it, in the back. But anyway, we went back home, and we walked, of course, and was getting ready to go to bed, and Kenneth, he had already gotten to bed, and he slept in that little bedroom right there behind where my big bedroom was. He slept in that room, and he come out and he said, "Hey, somebody at that window." And Mother had irises planted at that window. And so we get out and we go down the road.
Yeah.
To Mary Lou.
Tyrone Roberts.
Yeah.
And
Walking. Running.
walking, yeah. We didn't walk much. But anyway, Robert's sisters, Ruth and Hazel, they was talking about it that day. Do you reckon that anybody seen them going down the road in their pajamas? And Nothing said, I don't know whether they seen them or not, but I bet nobody passed them. And they didn't. But Robert, he got in a car and went up there, and he got Uncle John to go down there with him. Now, this was another time. At that time, somebody had been standing at that window because the irises was trampled down it. And just like they'd been looking in. But there was a colored man that lived out there, and he was forever going in on people. We figured that's who it was. But then another time, we was getting ready to go to bed, and we heard something out on the back porch. And there was a screen on the dining room window, I believe it was. And it would sound like that, did they go down just up right on that screen? So we got out again. We went back to Irene Roberts that night, and he went and got Uncle John. And they come down there, and we told them what we thought we'd heard and all, and they was out there, and that little black dog that we had, it was in the well house.
Oh.
And it was jumping in the window. It has a screen on it. They said that dog jumped on that window while Uncle John and Robert was looking to see if they seen anything. He like scared Uncle John to death. We was forever getting scared. That's like after we got married. We come in at 12 o'clock, 12:31, and go to bed. That's when we worked at Sprague on the second shift. And one night we gone to bed, and I said, "There's somebody on the carport." And he'd always say, "Turn over there and go to sleep. There ain't nobody out there." So I just turned over and went to sleep. But the next morning, they caught one of the prisoners from the prison camp down there, Buffalo, down there below the house. So I'm sure that there was one there that night. But it's a good thing he didn't go out.
They run that prison camp down there a long time after we was married. I don't know when they closed the thing down, but it was sometime after 1956, because that's when we was married.
Where at?
Buffalo. turn up Buffalo, and they was right up there on the left. Still right there. It was the last time I was through that part of the buildings where
Is the State Department still there? I guess they.
the
I don't
State
know what they
Department
are.
is down there, yeah, but they're in different buildings from what they were.
They used to make billfolds and different things.
Yeah.
Them prisoners did.
Ashe County used to be, for the time that it was, they was more advanced than they are now. Because they done everything that you're supposed to do back then.
So how old were you when y'all did finally get plumbing indoor? You remember when that was?
I don't remember. I was probably about 10, 8 or 10, I guess. Because I can remember when they was remodeling the house, I think they built that kitchen on too at the time. And we had our beds in the living room area. That's where we slept. And I know the reason I can remember that, we never did go to town. We didn't go to town to get nothing. And Daddy'd always bring us something back. And one day he brought 2 dresses back for me. I thought they was the prettiest dresses I'd ever seen. I could only have one. I couldn't make my mind up which one I wanted, so he had the other. And I hid it under the bed cover on them beds. That's why I remember the beds being in the living room. So he let me keep them both.
But back then, the dresses probably wouldn't have been over $2. If that much, would they?
I doubt it.
They probably was just
But
next
I
to
was
nothing.
so tickled with them dresses. I was in school at the time and I'm wearing the school.
I know shirts was
That's
shirts
like-
was like $1.98 or something like
It's like I was telling him the other day, we was talking about it.
49.
When I worked at Rose's, I made $20 a week. 40 hours at $20 a week. Well, Blackburn store, they was just down the street there from where Rose's was at that time. And I went down there one day and had the prettiest dress in there. $20. He would have took my whole paycheck to buy that one dress. But I didn't get it. But I mean, it would be amazing to have to live on the amount of money that people had back then, even if things were cheaper like they were then.
And you had to keep enough out of the $20 to run you all week. And all week, when you worked all week, you may not get to work over 2 or 3 days that week.
But your food you raised,
Yeah,
your garden, your animals,
Practically everything.
your chicken.
yeah, you had vegetables and the meats.
That's what you done on Saturday evening. You killed Mama a chicken. Yeah.
Did you ever know that little Joe Graybill? He was Hazel and Joe Graybill's son. He was the only child they had.
I don't think so.
He was Robert, Irene's husband. Hazel was his sister. Joe was a barber. But anyway, little Joe.
Was he in town? Joe Grabby, the barbershop there?
Yeah, they used to be in town. Of course, he's gone. Joe is, and little Joe, their boy, he had never been married or anything. I don't know how old he was when he got married, but he had got married. I think the woman that he married had children, but I'd see him every once in a while in the Dingles when I was down there, and I always talked to him. And talk about chickens made me think of it. She had a chicken. Of course, they had chickens, and she had a chicken that's something wrong with it, and I think he had killed it for her. And then he had gone. they thought probably to clean the gun or something probably later. I think it would have been later. But he had a shell in it and he didn't realize it, didn't he? It shot him, hit him right in the chest.
Mm.
Killed him.
He was fine, young
He, I know, I guess the last time I talked to him there in Ingles, I said, well, I'm going to go and leave you all alone, quit bothering you. And he said, you don't ever bother us at all. But his wife was so nice. And we run into her over at Lowe's one day, and I said, what happened to little Joe? And she told me. She said, I know he didn't do it. She said, he wouldn't have done nothing like that. She said, it was just an accident. I don't know how old he was. I can't remember.
He wouldn't been 18 probably, would he?
Huh?
He probably wouldn't have been 18.
Oh yeah, he was probably in his late 60s, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. When he done that.
Nah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
him
Yeah,
being
he was older because the woman he married, she'd been married and had children. But he used to work for Skyline Telephone. He was a fine person. I just